Hi everybody, this is Brian David Marshall coming to you from the Magic Party at PAX, where a tremendous bombshell was just dropped on this room as Wizards of the Coast revealed the existence of double-faced cards for the first time ever in the long history of Magic. Cards that do not have a Magic the Gathering card back. We caught up with Mark Rosewater, Zach Hill, Brady Domerith, and Jeremy Jarvis to find out a little bit more about what goes into making double-faced cards and what it means for you. We're going to talk to Mark Rosewater here about the design of one of the most exciting new types of cards, I think, in Magic history.
Yeah, it's pretty radical. It's pretty radical. So double-faced cards are the first time ever in Magic we put something on the...
Hold on. I need to get my head around that.
Okay.
You said double-faced cards.
Double-faced cards. For the first time ever, the back of a Magic card is not the Magic back. It's another card. And the idea is we wanted to do transformation in Innistrad because a key part of horror is transformation. We wanted to do werewolf justice because really, in the history of Magic, there's only been a few werewolves. We said if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And what werewolves wanted to be was human some of the time and werewolf another part of the time. So we explored how to do that. And so we ended up with two different ideas. One was what we call day-night, where we had a card that represented the moon and the sun, and we would track through it. The other was double-faced cards, which Duel Masters, a game that we also make, did double-faced cards about a year ago. And Tom LaBilly, who was on my design team, liked them, and when we talked about how to do transformation, Tom said, well, how about this? So we tried them, and it ended up being the best way to do it.
It really is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, well, I often say that you're not supposed to go outside the box unless you can't do it inside the box. And we looked inside the box, but in the end, we really needed a clean way to show two different sides. And flip cards, we didn't have room for the text. We couldn't do flip cards that all fit. So we needed to do it with both sides. Plus, it's much cleaner. On one side, you see a picture, it's a human. The other side, you see a picture, and it's a werewolf. It's a much cleaner version of it.
So explain how, we took a look at a handful of the cards here. Explain how, like for example, the werewolf card, how that transforms.
Okay, so all the werewolves, every single red and green double-faced card is a werewolf. Every werewolf is a double-faced red or green card. And the way the werewolves work is, at the beginning of a turn, if no spells were played on the previous turn, every single human turns into a werewolf. At the beginning of a turn, if 2 or more spells were played last turn by the same player, every werewolf becomes a human. It's important for us that all the humans and werewolves change at the same time. When the moon comes out, well, they're all werewolves. When the moon goes away, they're all human. And so all the werewolves have the same mechanic.
So you don't have any control over when your human is going to suddenly become a werewolf and vice versa?
Well, no, you do have some control, because if no spells are played, you can get them to turn. So, for example, on your turn, if you don't play any spells, if your opponent has an instant, maybe they can do something, but if not, you can change them a lot of the time. Likewise, if your opponent has a werewolf, if you play 2 spells, it'll turn back. So we wanted the werewolf mechanic to have some give by the players, so there's some ability to control it, but not complete control. And now there are a lot of other cards that change too, not just werewolves. You know, there's bats that turn into vampires, there's an egg that turns into a monster.
So, now the bat that turns into a vampire, that's something that's much more in flavor with a vampire, where you choose.
Exactly. Each transformation has their own kind of transformation. With the vampire and the bat, you choose when you change it. Do you want a 5/5 ground vampire, or do you want a 2/2 flying bat? You can go back and forth depending on the circumstance.
All right, so, and then the last card we saw was like an egg.
Yes. Well, the idea is there are a lot of scientists in blue. Mad scientists are a big part of horror. And so we wanted them to be, they're testing something, and it turns into a monster. And so one of the themes of the set is the number 13. It shows up a lot in the set, because 13 always has this flavor of being kind of horrific. And so we wanted to make a 1313 Trampler. The playtest name was Mutant Octopus, but a creative wouldn't go along with me, so it ended up being a text subject. But the idea is that it's a scientist growing a monster in his lab, and the transformation's one way. Once the egg opens, it ain't going back.
You can't fit it back in?
You can't put it back in the egg. And there's a lot of other really cool double-faced cards. I'm not going to give them away tonight, but all of them are really found horror tropes that when you see them, we were playing in the idea of transformation being a key part of horror, and so all of them play into different tropes.
All right, well, it's very exciting, Mark.
Yeah.
So go bask in the glory of your followers who are all like so excited to talk to you and pester you with more questions about double-faced cards.
Yeah, I was saying that I found people as excited about Innistrad as me, and I didn't think that was possible.
I didn't think it was possible either, but you're right. Everyone seems to love it. This is Brian David Marshall here with Senior R&D Art Director Jeremy Jarvis. Jeremy, that's a heck of a title. What does that mean?
What that means is I am in charge of overseeing the look of the style guide for each expansion, each plane we go to, and also commissioning all of the art for the cards.
Now you had a unique challenge with Innistrad. Normally when you're just designing a card and the look and feel of it, it's one image. But you actually have to tell a story with the two-faced cards that are in Innistrad.
Sure, and some of them the subject matter covers the story. If it's a werewolf, you show a person on one side during the day, you show a wolf on the other side at night. Others we were more narrative with, like the egg to the monster. All of the cards went to the same artist, so they were free to kind of innovate those stories and sell those narrative angles to whatever degree they were interested in selling them, basically.
So tell me about what goes into creating the look and feel of a world that's about horror. What are you thinking about as the art director when you get that task?
Well, so the most important thing is that we want to deliver on the tropes and find a look feel, a visual aesthetic that helps sell those small stories, it helps sell those notes. The bigger picture challenge was we have, if you think about it, had back-to-back-to-back settings of thematic darkness. Rise of the Eldrazi is about horrible things showing up. The Return to Phyrexia, New Phyrexia, certainly ended up being very horror movie-like. And then this wanted to be a more pure classical horror movie. And we had been planning that the entire time because we realized those challenges. If you go back and look at Rise of the Eldrazi, there's a reason that even though the Eldrazi are horrible tentacled things, they are very colorful. They're almost always shown in broad daylight. And the art stable changed with New Phyrexia. It's very much almost video game concept work. It's a more polished, almost a horrific sci-fi, so that we could keep straight traditional horror tropes for Innistrad. And I think we managed to do that. And those things are not mistakable for each other. No one's going to mistake an Eldrazi for a Phyrexian, and no one's going to mistake New Phyrexia for Innistrad. So, and that was actually a lot of planning and a lot of thought and a lot of hard work.
I know that I've never seen a card that looks like Ludovic's test subject. It's easily one of my favorite pieces of art in the history of Magic.
Excellent.
So kudos on just a great job.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys check it out. Now, when you're doing the double-faced cards, it seems very obvious to do a transformation from a human into a werewolf.
Sure.
But you guys, werewolves are in what, 2 colors, right?
Yeah. We have werewolves in both red and green. The reason why we wanted them in red is because I believe that in the same way that vampire stories are about repressed lust, werewolf stories are about repressed anger, right? It's like when the furiosity the ferocity overcomes you and you have to bust loose. So we felt that was deeply red in ethos, which is why we put them in red. It's true that the double-faced cards, we use that opportunity to do werewolves what we think is the right way, but there's all kinds of horror stories in which something becomes something else, and we took advantage of a lot of those as well.
So we see like a bat becoming a vampire,
right,
or we see an egg becoming a monster.
Right. Or a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sort of thing, or possessed little girl who becomes something monstrous. Yeah, we tried to round up as many of those tropes as we could find, and do cards for them.
You guys put a lot of hard work into this. You should reward yourself by going and enjoying the party.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brian.
All right, we're here with Magic designer developer Zach Hill. We're talking about double-faced Magic cards.
Oh man.
How exciting is it for you to finally have this out in the world?
It's crazy. I've been, completely unable to talk about this for a year and a half, and it's so great to finally be able to tell some of the stories about how these were designed and sort of acknowledge that we're doing something that's never been done before. It was really precedent-setting, and it was a big decision that we made. But I'm really excited to finally be able to see these things.
So, what do these feel like when you're playing with them?
Well, one of the things about Innistrad that we try to convey was top-down horror setting. Horror stories a lot of the time involve things transforming into other things. And what better way to do that than your actual card becoming something else? And the first time that I had a werewolf in play, I played another werewolf, I transformed both of them and just unleashed a massive howl in the middle of the pit. It's like, okay, we know these are going to be exciting. We know these are going to be doing something cool,
Tell me about something like a card like Mayor, the Mayor.
Oh, the mayor himself, yeah, the politician. We thought it'd be cool to have a guy that, he's a human lord, he's very tame, he's very dignified, he helps out his buddies. But, the moon comes out and he just completely unleashes it. So it was like, it's the first time we've ever done really a lord for two completely different races. But we thought it would just be cool if, the whole thing about a werewolf motif is something hidden inside, something, just waiting to be unleashed. And the fact that, not only does he boost all his wolves, but starts making guys, we just thought really captured the essence of what the whole werewolf thing meant. And, like I said, when I had my army of werewolves and they all transformed at the same time, one of them was a mare, and that was a pretty savage beating to be unleashed.
All right, well, September 24th, September 25th, Innistrad pre-releases. Unleash your inner werewolf. Zach Hill.
Howl from Brian.
You got a howl?
Yeah.
Ow! How was that?
That was perfect. That was awesome.